Hey everyone, welcome to week 6 of the class. Just got a few announcements. Just talk a little bit about week 6, give you an update of where we are, sort of expectations, things that are coming up, and that sort of thing. I'll be looking at Blackboard as I do this, so when my eyes avert, that's why. So I'll just make sure I don't forget anything here. Okay, so week 6 of the course concerns the U.S. Federal judiciary system, so our court system, our federal court system. So you have looking at what's required this week. It's actually a relatively light week, so we've got a 29-minute video, lecture video for the judiciary. I filmed that while I was on a work trip in Fort Lauderdale last week, so apologize for the background noise there. So watch that video there, and then you have a audio file where you can read it. It's an NPR story here, actually not dealing with the judiciary at all, but talking about social media. So the topic there is: does social media leave you feeling angry? And the story, the article title, it says that might be intentional. And so it's an interview actually with some experts on this issue of social media and the cognitive or emotional effect that it has on us. Obviously, it's relevant to the political context because, particularly as we get into public opinion, but just because so much of political information is conveyed via social media for different groups there. So that's why I want to focus on it. Last semester, when I gave this, somebody very nicely accused me of just being very critical and down on social media, which would be very hypocritical of me because I use social media myself, not TikTok or Twitter or any of that, but Facebook, just to stay in touch with family and friends and engage in petty political squabbles occasionally. Um, so the other reason to bring this up too is obviously for not that everyone in this class is at this life stage, but there's been a lot of concern about the mental health of young adults, particularly at places like NC State. And I've got a neighbor across the street who's a high school counselor who talks to me about it all the time. So I think spending a little bit of the time to examine sort of the role of social media and its effect on sort of our emotions and how we respond to that is probably a good thing. So this isn't an assignment week, but you do have a class discussion. So in the class discussion, I just ask you to reflect on your own social media usage there, how it impacts you. Again, it's relevant to the course because as we get into talking about public opinion and stuff, that's going to certainly be one of the methods by which political information is communicated there. So, no right or wrong answers. Some people handle social media very well. Some people don't. I'll certainly admit that, I struggled a little bit with it, particularly when I was younger. Now that I'm older, I'm just less passionate about everything. So you have that to look forward to. I'm joking, mostly. For in terms of things to read, just a couple sections from your textbook there on I believe on civil liberties, civil rights, chapter 13, and Supreme Court procedures and influences on the court system there. You see the requirements. So make that initial discussion post for this week's discussion by Thursday. That's February 16th. And then that second post to reply to at least one other student by the end of the week there. And then the lecture 6 attendance code word assignment. So in terms of a couple other things I want to talk about. So the first portion of the term paper, which is that very simple pick your variables, was due today, the day I'm filming this, on February 12th. If for some reason you missed that or you just didn't catch the deadline, still submit it. It's there'll be a small deduction, but it's important that you still do it because you need to do it for the subsequent sections. So I'm going to post information for the second requirement, which is going to be essentially the literature review, but more or less what it is just a couple pages, detailing your more thoroughly your explanation for why you believe that the relationship between your variables will exist. I'll provide you plenty of instructions there and an example paper to show you what I'm kind of talking about. This is not meant to be a high stress assignment. I'm more focused on sort of you guys understanding how academic research papers are organized. And sort of this is kind of, I always treat it as a mini research paper because it's supposed to model kind of what a larger one would look like that you might do as like a senior thesis or in graduate school or that sort of thing. I am not concerned, as you'll see in the instructions there, about citation style and making sure you have the period in the right place, and italicizing what's supposed to be. My only standard here is I want you to be able to cite it in such a way that I could find it if I needed to be able to look up your source. So all sorts of instructions will be available for you there. So I wanted to talk about the midterm exam here. So I noticed when I was going back to look at the syllabus, I goofed up a little bit because I had us covering the Constitution in one week when I actually Actually, I always cover it in two, and I don't know why I made that mistake. So this week you got the judiciary. Next week is the last week of content material before the midterm exam. That'll cover the U.S. presidency and bureaucracy. And then the following week, which would be week 8, is when we're going to take the midterm exam. So that would be the week of. Let me take a look at my calendar here. It's more or less the week of February 27th. So typically, how I structure this is the exam will be open to you either Friday through Sunday, so March 3rd through March 5th, or it may open on Thursday, the 2nd there. I give you the first half of the week to study. I prepare a midterm review for you, so you have the topics that I'd like for you to cover there. And as you'll remember from the syllabus, I did incorporate this semester an online live action. We get together and chat. There'll be a couple different opportunities to do that, but I will do one of those for the midterm review. So I will actually schedule a Teams meeting for whoever, and I'll send you guys a link, whoever wants to join that. I'll announce the date ahead of time. Like I said, if you can't make that one, it's fine, and I'm going to record that. I'm going to try and record that. So you at least have the material there. So if for some reason, I don't want to disadvantage somebody that, has to work during that time or has other obligations or something. So I will make sure you have access to that video if you can't make it live and in person. But I'll do that for the final exam as well, and I'll probably have one other opportunity for you to log in live and for us to be able to engage, in person, because I don't ever know if you guys are actually there. It's just I'm talking to a screen and I don't get a lot of back and forth. No, fortunately, you guys are very low maintenance, unlike many of the women I dated, and you haven't had a lot of questions or that sort of thing. But do remember that I'm here when you need that. I also want to apologize. I know for this class I posted the wrong video at the beginning of week 5, and I was traveling, so I was a little late getting that fixed. So if you submitted the code word for my international relations week 5 video instead, I'll give you credit for it. So don't worry about that. But the correct video is posted there. So a lot of information there. Like I said, I'll start posting more announcements about some of this stuff as it gets a little closer in. But like I said, week 6 is relatively light, so it goes a little easy on you. And then just look for that folder update when I include the second part of the term paper, because you could use that time to get started here. Thanks so much, everyone, and have a great week.